Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Fans YouTube channel. Let's talk Monday Night Raw. I've actually watched it on time now, and I'm now making the video on time. Be proud of me. Round of applause, please. Now, the ending of this episode of Monday Night Raw was an emotional one. But the rest of the episode, I'm feeling a bit iffy about, and I don't want to be one of those internet wrestling fans who thinks to know everything about the business and wants to put down absolutely everything that happens, because I see a lot of that in the internet wrestling community. I'll be honest. A lot of people just saying this person shouldn't have won this match and this person should win this, thinking everything can just be everything at once, and it just can't be. Things need build. People need put over. People need to lose. It's just how it is. And a lot of people think they know wrestling when they don't. And a lot of people, in my opinion, have come around since the hype of Tribal Chief, since the hype of WrestleMania 40, when WWE's been on the rise in recent years. And they've come along, became wrestling fans, and now act like they know the business like everyone else. And they want to criticize and put everything else down and convince everyone that the product is doing a bad job. And they're not. The product is doing certain things differently that isn't as nice, but in terms of how well the product's doing, I mean, it's no WrestleMania 40, but if we look before that period, we're doing certainly a lot better job, put it that way. But anyways, let's talk about it. Let's just talk about the main event, right, and get it over with. AJ Styles, his retirement. And we teased it throughout the whole show. There was plenty of moments, right? Like, at the start of the show when the commentators were talking about how AJ was going to come out and we were going to celebrate his retirement, whatever. Gunther came out, shut that all down. You know, he was like, no. Guy's already retired. You shouldn't be celebrating his career. You should be celebrating the man who ended that career. And Adam Pearce came out to remove him. He said, nah, we're not doing this tonight. I knew you'd do this. We're not doing it. And he was leaving. He was being cooperative because he said, look, I don't want to be in the building while he's celebrating AJ Styles. Fuck off. And he went to leave. And then Dragon Lee came out to attack him again. We got a big scrap between Dragon Lee and Gunther, which is pretty cool. We had a standoff between Rusev and Obafemi. And Adam Pearce once again was like, look, we're not doing this tonight. Just behave yourselves for AJ. And they went, yeah, of course I will, for AJ. But by the way, Rusev and Obafemi, that is going to eat. And I'll get back to Obafemi in a minute. But AJ Styles comes out, after a lovely video package. Not quite the John Cena video package, because that was something else. But this was... I think AJ Styles might have had the better retirement celebration. AJ Styles got the celebration John Cena deserved. John Cena's was off the back of disappointment. And obviously him tapping out. What we all knew what was going to happen, and I could tell it was good for the story, but it just wasn't. The last match wasn't what we really wanted. And it was too sad. And then there was like the forced, video package and forcing John Cena to hold the titles. This was the goodbye John Cena deserved. AJ went out there, cut a speech of his own. No one else out there, just cut a speech of his own. And an absolutely incredible speech with his family front row. Then when everyone was celebrating him, out came all the wrestlers to celebrate him. And earlier on in the night was so Frank Kazarian and was so Abyss. Obviously, we know Abyss works in the back as a producer, but he was in the full kit and everything. Anderson and Gallows were there as well. They were all there to celebrate AJ Styles. And they got the whole cheer on the ramp. And that's when Undertaker's music hit. Out came American Badass. Everyone's like, what the fuck, why is he doing that? I don't understand why Undertaker keeps getting all the big moments. It's like in WrestleMania 40, he was the final man to come out, but he had no significance with The Rock, the Bloodline, John Cena, nothing. And now with AJ Styles, he's coming out again. Yes, AJ was part of Undertaker's last match, but at the same time, where's the significance? But then that eventually got told to us. He says, look, we're just going to leave your shit in here. We have unfinished business. I am honored to tell you AJ Styles, you are the newest member of the 2026 Hall of Fame. We've already got Stephanie McMahon, and now we have AJ Styles, and I love it. And the reason I say this is the treatment John Cena deserves is because he got the great speech that we should have got from John Cena, and he got put in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the fact that John Cena isn't in the Hall of Fame is amazing to me. But at the same time, I can see why they might want to save him for next year, because you've already got Stephanie and now AJ Styles, so fair enough. But man, that AJ Styles speech, that whole retirement nearly got me going, man. That was insane. This episode of Raw was a bit weird because we only had 4 matches. and technically only 3, and it didn't go as planned. We had the 2 Elimination Chamber qualifying matches to get the final members in the Chamber match. Let's start with the men's, right? It was Bronson Reed, it was Jey Uso, it was the original Grand Americano. It was very obvious that Bronson Reed was going to be the winner. He was going to end in that chamber because he's now taken over for Braun Breaker, who's injured. Yeah, remember Seth was injured in the Vision, so they pivoted, made him turn on him. Braun Breaker became the main guy in the Vision. Braun Breaker gets injured, so what they do, they pivot and they're like, okay, Bronson Reed's our main guy, and now Bronson Reed's injured as well. That's another man to add to the injury list on top of everyone else, right? We've already got big stars like Bianca Belair on there, right? But 3 members of the Vision are injured now. That's insane. It's insane. So what it looked like to me was Bronson was the obvious winner because once he got injured, Jey and El Grande Americano were going very slow, not really doing much. It kind of looked confused. So it kind of looked like the kind of ringing up the producers like, we need to make a change quick. And that change was Jey Uso, which, if this was the original plan, that Jey was going to win, I am fucking raging, right? Because it makes no sense Jey being in the match anyway, right? Usos are back in the tag team division. Win the tag belts, do fuck all, come out to Jey's music only. Jimmy doesn't show up for weeks. And now Jey's just challenging for the Elimination Chamber while being a tag team champion. Makes no sense, right? But the reason he's the winner, I can imagine, is because Bronson has hurt himself during that match, which is such a shame. It really is, but what can you do? Jey's not going to win. We don't need to worry about it, right? We've now got finalised men's chamber. We've got Randy, we've got Cody, we've got Jey, we've got Trick, we've got Javon, and we've got LA Knight. It's a tough one. I'm stuck between 2, but I'll reveal that in my predictions video later on this week. Match quality was not great. I think every bit of this show, match quality, even segments, just was slow. It seemed unplanned. Nothing was clean. It's just, I don't know. I can see why some wrestling fans are hating on the product right now because, I don't know, the way they're giving us things, it doesn't seem right, if that makes sense. But as for the women's qualifying match, now this is the one where I've got to get mad at the fans, right? Because you got Kyrie, you got Io, you got Raquel, right? Asuka's already in the chamber, so Kyrie could be in there as well. Rhea's already in the chamber, one half of the tag team champion, so Io could be in there. Not to mention, Io's a major player in the roster. But Raquel Rodriguez has been chasing that World Championship forever, and she could not capture it, and her and Liv butt heads over it. And now Liv's won the Rumble, and she finally picked Stephanie Vaquer tonight. So now the winner's going to face Jade Cargill. And when Liv and Raquel have went over to SmackDown, they've had that face-off with Jade Cargill. We've kind of had that thing between Jade and Raquel. So Raquel, I thought, was the perfect option to go in this match and potentially win that chamber. But the fans seem to think otherwise. Everyone seemed so disappointed when Raquel Rodriguez won that match, as if they wanted Io Sky to win. If Io Sky wins and goes in the chamber, tell me who's going to win that chamber. Tell me who's going to win that chamber. What, Tiffany Stratton? What, we're going to get Tiffany Jade Cargill again at Mania? No thanks. We got that at SummerSlam. We got that 6 times throughout last year. And then the last time we got it, Jade won the championship. Do you want to run that back at Mania? No. No. It's just not happening. If Bianca Belair's not back and not in the chamber, which she's not, I think Raquel's the right way to go. So I agreed with that one. Match quality, nah, I kind of skipped it because I was bored. Raw lasted a long time tonight. Like a really long time. It really annoyed me. Anyways, so I was talking about Liv Morgan picking her opponent. It was announced that tonight she was going to do that. She comes out with Dom. They asked the champions to come out and Liv, before she makes her option known, she lets Stephanie know that what Stephanie said to her last week really got to her. And obviously we can tell it did. But she sympathised with her. She said, I had no idea your journey and I was selfish and I realise that now and I'm sorry. And she went, but that brings me on to my WrestleMania opponent. Turned and looked at Jade Cargill, turned around and beat the shit out of Stephanie Vaquer. I mean, I think we all saw that coming. But it only just makes sense, right? None of these people really make sense for Liv at all. I just think the champions are where they are because of where they are, you know? I think Stephanie's only champion right now because Naomi got pregnant. And don't get me wrong, Stephanie's a great champion and definitely deserves to be world champion, but there's no real story direction here. And I think Jade's champion because I thought Bianca might be back. I think they thought they'd have Naomi as world champion, Jade as WWE champion, Bianca back and be the Women's Royal Rumble winner. And then they'd have that story there of like, oh, Bianca's got Rick with both of them. Who's she going to pick? And it's a good story either way. That's not how it went down. So, Liv and Stephanie is what we're going to get. at Mania, and I'm not going to complain. I think Liv's probably going to take back that title. For me, it's not that exciting because we've seen Liv with the World Championship a bunch of times. You know, I think her going over to SmackDown might be a nice different change, but it is what it is. Stephanie might retain. Someone might win the title in that time. God knows what will happen. As for the Men's World Championship, I mean, CM Punk came out, cut a promo. He wanted to leave the night up to AJ Styles, but then continued to cut a promo anyway. Cut down Roman Reigns, saying, "Oh, he's not here tonight. I'm here every week, feet on the ground." But being a fighting champion, mate, you've defended that title twice. Settle down, right? And then twice since November, by the way, 4 months. 4 months. 4 months. You went, you know, fighting champion defends once every month. 4 months, right? Yeah. Being CM Punk, cutting down Roman Reigns, cutting down Finn Balor is what it is. Finn Balor had a good promo package saying it's been 10 years. He's constantly been telling himself what ifs, and now he's like, no, now it's definite. Now it's when. I'm just ready because I know Finn's not going to win that title. They're not going to jeopardize the main event of WrestleMania. As much as I'd like a match with Finn Balor and Roman Reigns much more than the match with Roman Reigns and CM Punk, I can see why that isn't the appeal. They've not got that star power and momentum behind Finn Balor, and there's a major storyline between Roman and Punk anyway, so I can see why. But it'll be nice to have the match, and it'll be nice to see Finn Balor get some shine and see the story between Finn and Dom develop, because they were back in the Judgment Day clubhouse. Dom and Liv were celebrating her picking the title opportunity, and then Dom confronts JD and Finn like, "Oh, you weren't there for me last week, and I lost my match." And Finn Balor proceeds to say, "Well, while you two were injured, I had no one to back me, and I was challenging for the world title. I picked myself up and I moved on like a man. You need to do the same, Dom. Grow up." Earth eat seeds planted. When Finn Balor loses to CM Punk, him and Dom are going to start going at it in Mania for the Intercontinental title. I'm telling you now. Everyone's going to complain when Finn wins the Intercontinental title in Mania. Like, "Oh, they couldn't put a world title on him, but they could put a mid-card title on him." Duh, because they've got other feuds to build. They have Royal Rumble winners and Elimination Chamber winners to face at Mania. Finn winning the Intercontinental Championship is a good sign. That's his first singles title in years. And then he's going to move up the division and eventually win a world title at some point. They're going to finish that story. There's a massive, major, heartfelt, connecting storyline for WWE to use there. You think they're not going to use it? They're going to use it. Relax. The other matches, we had Javon against Kofi Kingston, so we had a bit of a backstage thing. We're in Atlanta, so whenever we're in Atlanta, we have so many celebrities there. I mean, we had 2 Chainz, we had Lil Yachty, we had Offset, damn near everybody. And Javon was cutting a promo backstage, Offset was there, New Day came in, yada yada yada. Ended up with a match between Kofi and Javon. And then at some point, Offset actually got involved when Grayson Waller tried to get involved with Javon. Offset threw him over the table. Are we going to get Offset in WWE? That's what I'm asking. Travis couldn't follow through with it. Offset might. I like Offset better than Travis. He actually makes more of an effort to rap. Still not great though. At the same time, that was fun, I guess. Keeping Javon hot for Chamber. Javon got the win, obviously. It is what it is. And the only other match we had was Maxine and Natty, which went just as it did last week or the week before, whenever it was. When Natty beat her up and then was hitting her with a sharpshooter on the table, referee called it off. This time the match was 2 minutes in. They're on the outside. Natty pushes Maxine off, and in the most dramatic, over-exaggerating way, Maxine goes flying into the ring post and gets laid out flat, knocked out cold. So Natalya decides, I'm just going to keep punching her in the back of the head, and then the referee calls it off and take KO. Building that Natalya some badass that she's not. And that Maxine's just a victim, which to be fair, she is. She is basically a victim. She's got the least experience out of anyone, so fair enough. I can't sit there and disagree with it. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I mean, we had a promo package from Becky Lynch. And apart from that, it was like just segments. It was a very segment-heavy show. And Brock Lesnar came out mid-show. We're excited for that. At the time, that was the biggest pop we got all night. And I'm just like, God, an Atlanta crowd with all these celebrities, all these stars. Bear in mind, we had CM Punk, we had Cody Rhodes, we had AJ Styles, we had Oberfemi, we had Brock Lesnar, we had who else? We had The Vision, you know. There's no reason this show shouldn't go off, and it didn't. That's the sad thing. Brock Lesnar came out with Paul Heyman. They had a funny thing where he's like, well, I'm not going to slip. Best pop of the night. Paul Heyman cut a promo as Brock's manager, and Brock, in his later years, over the hill Brock, he's a bit more laid back, he's a bit more funny, and he doesn't stick to the script as much. And when Paul Heyman was doing his thing, cut his promo, Brock would talk in his ear, and he'd make it a bit awkward, like, shut up, Brock. do your thing, let Paul talk, just sit there and look serious. And he called out, he said, look, Brock Lesnar is the main event at WrestleMania, let's be honest. The guy's been in every title match, he's been in all the main events. And at one point, there was 2 main events at WrestleMania. The world title match and Undertaker's streak. Brock Lesnar was the man to beat Undertaker's streak. Since that day, he's been the main event at WrestleMania. So whoever it is that wants to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, make yourself known. And then he pulled up a calendar of when Brock Lesnar's going to be on Raw. And starting March 16th, we've got March 16th for the next 5 weeks following all the way up to WrestleMania. We have Brock Lesnar there every week to build a feud for someone who wants to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. They called someone out, no one came out, but the whole crowd was chanting Oba, and I think that is what we're going to get. And I think it's going to be beautiful. Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania, Oba Femi wins. Please. Please, I want it. You know, it could be Gunther, I doubt it, but Oba Femi. Give me Oba Femi, give me Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania. You love to see it. And to start the show, obviously, Cody Rhodes came out after Gunther got kicked out or whatever. Cody Rhodes came out to the Atlanta crowd. Didn't even let him speak. Out came the Vision, cut their promo and shit, and that led into the triple threat match. A lot of interruptions, a lot of promos, not enough matches, to be honest. Not enough excitement, not enough cool moments for the crowd to, like, enjoy themselves, really. It really just felt like, which is so insane, because a lot of, like, important shit happened, but it did feel quite filler at times. So, yeah. My point still stands that SmackDown is doing better than Monday Night Raw at this point, and if you disagree, you're a fool. You're a fool. But thank you for watching anyway. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if I forgot anything, because I can imagine I probably did. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.